back to the Price of Business. I'm your host, Kevin Price, talking to you about you and your business. I am delighted to have on the program as we wrap up today's program an interesting guest. We're going to be visiting with Jim Crimmins. He's with a company called PersuadeTheLizard.com, and Jim has recently been featured in guest columns and interviews on HubSpot, Agency Spy, Small Biz Daily, and others. And Persuade the Lizard is dedicated to rating advertisements on how well they persuade, which, I would think in our social media culture we live in today, that would be pretty popular. How are you today, Jim?
I'm great, Kevin. Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about your story. Kind of give us some background.
Well, every year marketers spend billions to persuade, but there's a little discussion of what's persuasive and what isn't, except on PersuadeTheLizard.com. What the website does is explore what works and what doesn't work in persuasion and illustrates the points with reviews of 200 ads, commercial ads, political ads, public service ads. Visitors can see the ads, see what works and what doesn't about each, offer their own point of view, and recommend an ad to be reviewed.
Very good. How long have you been doing this?
I've been doing this about a year.
Interesting. What made you decide to do it?
Well, I've been in the persuasion business most of my life. At the University of Chicago, I studied mass communication and persuasion. I then worked at a DDB, a large agency in Chicago, as the chief strategic officer there. And then I taught at Northwestern University, taught marketing and consumer insight there. And I simply decided to reach out more directly to people in general on the subject of persuasion because there was so little else out there.
So you have ranking based on this terminology steps forward. Kind of give us an idea of the range.
The range runs all the way from 2 steps forward back to digging a hole. So there are some ads that are in the range? Actually dig a hole for the brand that they are supposed to be helping. And there's others ads that work spectacularly well and get all sorts of attention and change the way people think about the brand.
And what is the range? So is it like digging a hole, 0 step forward, 1 step forward, and 2 step forward? Is that pretty much how it looks?
It's digging a hole, counterproductive, wasted opportunity, and then on the positive, 1 step forward and 2 steps forward.
Got it. So 2 step forward, a really good ad. I like the fact that you had Joni Ernst, whose ad got incredible national attention when she was running for the Republican nomination, I think in Iowa. Is that correct? Yeah, Iowa.
That's correct, in Iowa.
Yeah, and it's a fantastic ad for going after the base of the Republican Party, particularly in a place like Iowa. Iowa's a strange place. You're either incredibly conservative or really liberal to an extreme there, and their GOP is among the more conservative in the country.
And it's a very agricultural place, and obviously the ad had a quite agricultural theme.
Yeah, I personally enjoyed the ad, but I agree with you that the ad would not hold up in a general election. She would want to see that go bye-bye after she got the nomination. I doubt you saw it much in October and November.
You saw it not at all.
And she didn't win, by the way, though. She did end up winning the election in something of a surprise in the end.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So very good. What is, and what I like about the ad is that, there's plenty of sites out there that challenge the veracity of ads. But what I like about this is it's merely addressed the number one reason why people spend money on advertising, which is to persuade. And I'm shocked how many ads that are out there that seem to do very little more than simply brand you or show who you are. And without some kind of clever contrast or some interesting messaging, it has zero impact.
Absolutely. There are many ads that do nothing. There are a few ads that do worse than nothing. The brand would be better off if it had never run them. And there are some ads that, like you say, the Joni Ernst ad or some others that really click and change the way you think about that brand altogether.
Talk a little bit about the somewhat controversial, in terms of reception, Kentucky Fried Chicken ad. The first one, recreation of the Colonel, that guy was described as creepy. And, I'm wondering in retrospect, I always kind of thought Norm Macdonald was creepy, to be honest with you. That's who they replaced him with. But I kind of wonder if there was a little bit of new Coke in the KFC ads in the first place, because if nothing else, it created an enormous amount of buzz, just like New Coke did, leading to a demand for Classic Coke to return. Then it ended up being an accidental stroke of genius, or was it accidental?
Well, about the KFC ads, they're an attempt by KFC to make their brand seem contemporary by hiring comedians. The first one they used was Daryl Hammond, and the second one was Norm Macdonald. And they used those guys to play the role of their spokesperson, the Colonel, their beloved spokesperson, the Colonel. And it was a part of a step toward making the brand contemporary. But if you watch the ad carefully, half of the ad gives you the impression that nothing has changed. KFC is its food and its stores are exactly the same. And if KFC continues with that advertising in that program where they just contemporize the Colonel and leave everything else the same, they're going to only confuse people and do themselves no favor at all. Yeah.
Talk a little bit to me about what, in the last year, what has been the most persuasive ad?
The most persuasive ad in the last year. Well, there's a lot to choose from. I'll take one by Old Spice. Old Spice in the past had been a brand, a kind of a sleepy male toiletry brand, and suddenly Old Spice started acting differently. It spoke, it changed its target from exclusively men to men and apparently speaking to women. It came across as wildly different, as very attractive, very funny, smooth, sophisticated, and changed the image of the sort of people who use Old Spice products. And the ad has been very effective. Old Spice went from back in the pack to the leading brand of men's toiletry.
Fascinating. Well, I appreciate you giving us this information. I think it's fascinating. People should go to PersuadeTheLizard.com and, first of all, check out what they've already done work-wise, but then make a suggestion as to ads you like to see cover, and also give them feedback on their assessment on the ads. And, Jim, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you, Kevin. It's been a pleasure.
Jim Crimmins, check him out, PersuadeTheLizard.com. All right, when we come back on Tuesday, we're going to have much more for you. I do hope you have a great rest of your day. I hope you spend it wisely right here on this station.